condition specifically that has been plaguing women globally, the PCOS.
We see that PCOS is not just about polycystic ovaries, right? It's much more.
So exhausted physically and emotionally that I flew back to India without even a return ticket.
If your body tells you something, listen to that.
About the PCOS, the full name is Polycystic Ovary Syndrome. So it's an endocrine and metabolic disorders, and according to Alberta's Women's Health Foundation, every 100 women, there will be 8 to 13 women have to live with PCOS. So the rough number could be 1.4 million. So it's not a small number, right? Until now, the real cause of PCOS is still unknown. But besides the genetic factors, there's also outer factors like lifestyle, diet, occupation, and environment factors. All of those can play together and make the PCOS develop and worsen.
My PCOS journey from struggle to strength. So it all started back in 2020 when I first came to Canada. It was the most vulnerable phase of my life. Before that, I haven't been away from my family for even a night. And suddenly I was on a flight to a completely different country all alone. It was incredibly stressful time of my life and my body was not supporting me at all. I felt constantly drained, overthought everything. There were sudden mood swings. I used to cry for hours without knowing the reason. And I felt the weight of anxiety and depression, couldn't sleep at night, overthought everything. And I also noticed excessive facial hair, rapid weight gain.
We see the full name of that is Polycystic Ovary Syndrome, right? So it's a syndrome. That means it's a collection of signs and symptoms. And the first sign of it is related to its name that you see, the polycystic ovary. So that means that when you see on the ultrasound, you can see that on the ovary, there could be many small sacs around the outer edge of the ovaries. And they look like cysts, but they're not actually cysts. They call it ovarian follicle. And the second symptoms we can see in PCOS patients is they have excessive hair on the face, on the body. And that is caused by a condition, they call that the high androgen level, including testosterone. And the third one is for some PCOS patients, they're more prone to gain weight. It not only caused by high level of androgen, but also by another condition, they call that insulin resistance. That means your body doesn't respond well to a hormone, they call that the insulin. So your body is just keep increasing the insulin in your body, and insulin promotes the fat storage, make the fat just accumulate in your body, especially in the belly area.
Strangely, my periods were regular, so I never even considered PCOS because like many people, I believed irregular periods were the primary symptom of PCOS. So what is the diagnostic criteria of PCOS? For me, I never had irregular periods. Got to know after 2 years that I have PCOS when I have undergone an ultrasound. Is there any other diagnostic criteria other than ultrasound that we can follow for PCOS? Yeah. I think everyone has different symptoms.
The diagnosis of PCOS is still really challenging. There will be 3 criteria. And if you have just 2 on the 3 criteria, then you will have the diagnosis. So what are those 3? The first one is the irregular menstruation. The second is the high androgen level, clinically or biochemically. And the third one is the image of the polycystic ovary on the ultrasound. So if you have 2 and 3 of that, you will have the diagnosis of PCOS.
I kept dismissing signs and symptoms until it all became too much. Eventually, I was so exhausted physically and emotionally that I flew back to India without even a return ticket. I was convinced that everything went wrong after I came here. With PCOS, there come a lot of anxiety issues, depression, or mood swings, or as it is a hormonal disorder. I think that very much specifies that. So, what are the mental health issues faced by a PCOS woman?
We see that PCOS is not just about polycystic ovaries, right? It's much more. A patient with PCOS, many of them will have like negative body image. They'll feel that, oh, well, I'm not like other girls. I cannot wear my favorite swimsuit on the pool. Why I have so bad acne, or why I have so bad weight. I cannot reduce my weight. Right? And they have the negative body image. And many of them also have the eating disorders. Even the PCOS itself, it's endocrine and metabolic disorders, right? So the imbalance between the estrogen, progesterone, and the insulin resistance in your body, all of those can play and affect the brain chemistry or the neurotransmitter function. It makes you more prone to have the mood disorders like depression and anxiety disorders.
After going back to India, I went through a series of scans and tests, and finally I was diagnosed with PCOS. Everything I felt began to make sense, and the root causes were stress, anxiety, and then poor sleep, irregular and unhealthy eating habits. Then, as a line of treatment, my gynecologist prescribed me birth control pills. After coming to Canada, I started taking those pills, and those made my condition even worse. So eventually I had to stop taking them and consulted 2 or 3 more doctors. I haven't recovered like any permanent solution. In like 2 years, I gained 20 kgs to 30 kgs of weight. And I tried almost everything, taking medication, starved myself, intense workouts, but nothing worked. So eventually I started living with the symptoms and my weight, and I lost all hope. One day I came across this podcast by a dietitian. She was talking about how simple lifestyle changes can help manage PCOS. So I thought of just trying those simple changes. Those were like just starting your day with a warm water, doing 30 minutes exercise or brisk walk, having 3 to 4 liters of water every day, not eating after 7 p.m., avoiding sugars, refined carbohydrates. Just these changes helped me so that I lost 9 kgs of weight in 2 months. My mood swings improved, and I could feel my body and mind felt lighter and more balanced.
So because we call PCOS as a lifestyle disease, as we know, like there are different lifestyle changes which happen nowadays, especially the things with the diet and with the exercise and also with the stress management. It can improve and also worsen the PCOS as well. Like we are eating the junk foods and less be active, and also we are not sleeping well. So all these factors could be contributory with the PCOS as well. Little bit changes that could be helpful as well. They eat healthy and more fruit and the vegetables, and just do regular exercise, which is only even a 30 minutes a day is enough to do it, and just keep a schedule. So we have to sleep well and manage our stress. So all these things could be contributory to improve the symptoms for the PCOS as well, and just keep it consistent. Consistency is a key, so which will be helpful.
So studies have shown that people with PCOS are up to 3 times more likely to experience depression than the normal population. So there is support available, so in the form of cognitive behavioral therapy, mindfulness-based stress reduction, peer support groups. So the people who are experiencing PCOS, they talk to each other and they try to help each other in those support groups. In extreme cases, help can be sought from specialists like psychiatrists or psychologists, and medication for anxiety and depression can also be started. Yeah.
We also need to keep an eye on your mental health, on what you are feeling throughout the days, throughout the week. When you're feeling best, when you're feeling the worst. And have you ever felt uncontrollably sad or worried? Or have you ever think about harm yourself or harm others, or like you do not want to live anymore? So that's the red flags that we need to act. Sometimes the sadness occasionally is normal, but if like come to depression and anxiety disorders, is a total different story. It's like the broken mood. The broken mood is like the broken bones. It needs to be treated. It needs to be taken care of. It needs the time to get healed, and it needs also like therapy, the right medication. I think there's a link on the My Health Alberta. You can do there and to just self-screening to see if you have the depression or anxiety.
Speaking of little changes and things that we can change in our routine, you mentioned earlier that some food habits also have an effect. So what dietary changes should be made by PCOS women?
So there are some foods which we should take. So I will say like the fresh fruits and the vegetables, which are very good, and also taking the lean protein and also the whole grains, all these nuts, you can say, all these are the food which can make you full as well and give you the energy as well, and these are good for maintaining your body and the PCOS symptoms as well. So the things which I can say like should be avoided, so just cut down or cut back on the sugary stuffs and the sweeteners. You can cut down on soda, and also like the sweetened caffeine could be the other alternative for that, like just cut down that. And otherwise like white bread, carbohydrates, we should take all these things, and especially the fatty and the fried things, we should cut down on that. It will be helpful. So usually I give the suggestion to my patients to take a food for as a fuel. If better will be the fuel, your body will be good as well, and it runs smoothly.
I learned that PCOS is not a quick fix, but it can be managed permanently and naturally with a consistent healthy lifestyle.